Good morning and welcome. It is well that you have come. We're happy to have you here at Temple Buddhist Center's Sunday service. My name is Nicoya Helm, and I am honored to be of service this morning. We hope that this morning finds you happy and healthy, but please know that if you are struggling, we hope that this community and this service can be a source of refuge for you and your loved ones. We are excited to be able to celebrate in person. We want to do so as safely as possible. So in line with that, we are following citywide mask mandates, which are still in effect. And we appreciate you doing your part to help keep each and every member of our Sangha safe and healthy. So let's begin this morning with some conscious breathing. And we'll just take a few moments to ground, to really settle into this present moment and breathe together. Conscious breathing is where we seal the mouth and breathe in deeply through the nose, pause for a moment, and then exhale so that the out-breath becomes longer than the in-breath. And of course, you are welcome to modify this as needed, depending on allergies and all those sorts of things. So let's begin. Breathing in, pausing just a moment, feeling the fullness of the lungs, releasing slowly, and as you release, checking in with the body. Just being aware of what's present and alive right now. We'll take a second conscious breath. Pause for a moment, and then releasing slowly. And as you release, see if you can let go of any sense of efforting, striving, planning, concerns for the week, that energy of doing, going, and accomplishing. And just settling into this moment and allowing the energy of simply being. And then a third conscious breath together. And as you release, taking time to invite into your awareness even more fully everything that is alive in this present moment, arriving in the here and the now. Here at Temple Buddhist Center, we like to begin our services with chanting. And chanting is an integral part of every tradition. It's not about being a singer. It is about having a voice and bringing our voices together in community. Our chant today, don't be intimidated, we're all here doing this together, we'll all go through together, is gate, gate, parasum gate, bodhisvaha. And just so you know, that svaha at the end is like, yes, woohoo, yeah. So, gate, gate, parasum gate, bodhisvaha. A little pep there. So I will invite Christine to tone us in. Gate, gate, parasum gate, bodhisvaha. 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 Gate, gate, parasungate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, parasungate, bodhisvaha. Gate, gate, parasungate, bodhisvaha. One more time. Gate, gate, parasungate, bodhisvaha. And with that chant, we celebrate the liberation of emptiness, and it is not an emptiness that is a void, but it is an emptiness that contains all possibilities simultaneously. Here at Temple Buddhist Center, we practice Western-style Buddhism. This is a blend of Eastern philosophy and Western psychology. This new and exciting form of spirituality is dynamic, inclusive, it is active and changing, and it focuses on core Buddhist insights, mindfulness, meditation, and their practical application to our daily life. Our goal here isn't to get everyone to agree on one particular lineage or doctrine. Rather, it's on cultivating a shared experience of mindfulness, oneness, and love. And so whether we are chanting, meditating, or sharing from the heart, we respect that you will participate at a level that is appropriate for you. We take refuge in the three jewels and acknowledge these as core values and expressions of the awakened mind. These are the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. The Buddha is the valuing of our Buddha nature, as well as the historical Buddha that brought these teachings into prominence. And the Buddha nature of all beings allows a new perspective of this in each and every precious moment. The second jewel is the Dharma, or the wisdom teachings, that help release us from fear and delusion and realize the true nature of who we are. And finally, the third jewel, Sangha, or sacred community, where we have an essential part of our growth practicing together and supporting each other along every step of the path. So with those three jewels as a support and a refuge for us, we encourage you to take a moment to silence any electronic devices. If you are joining us from home, wherever you are in the world today, take a moment to create a meditative environment from your location. As we prepare to say the prayer of refuge, we'll recite this together 3 times in honor of the three jewels. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. May we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. In Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, we go for refuge until fully awakened through the power of generosity, ethics, patience, enthusiastic effort, concentration, and wisdom. For the sake of all beings, may we realize and demonstrate our innate goodness. As we prepare for a time of meditation, if you have an extensive practice already, I invite you to begin that and practice in a way that is fitting for you. If you are new to meditation, we will begin with an opening dedication. We'll sound the bell 3 times in honor of the 3 jewels, and then Victor will guide us in to the time of silent meditation, where we'll spend approximately 12 to 15 minutes. So let's begin with a conscious breath together. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness, I send my heart along with the sound of the bell. May the hearers awaken from forgetfulness, transcend the path of anxiety and sorrow, and realize the true nature of who they are.
And so, as the sound of the bell decays and shows us the way, moving into noble silence. If necessary, you can take another conscious breath or 2, whatever you need to do to help the body relax just a little more. And as the breath settles into its natural flow, its natural rhythm, we remain connected to the breath by bringing our awareness to the rise and the fall of the tummy. There's no need to manipulate the breath. No need to try to control it in any way. Just observing the rise and the fall of the tummy as we naturally inhale and exhale. We can also bring our awareness right now to the body, noticing any points of tension, any points that might be contracted or uneasy. Perhaps there is a pain. The invitation is to imagine the epicenter of your breath emanating from that point of contraction or pain, as if every pore in your skin could breathe in and out of that part of your body, that point of tension. And so connected to the breath, the body is gentle, spacious, and light. We can bring our awareness to awareness itself, noticing when the mind becomes aware of a sound, perhaps in the room, out in the hallway. And when we notice that the mind has gone there, lovingly and gently, we simply come back to the breath, the rise and fall of the tummy. You may notice when the mind becomes aware of a sensation, like an itch, a tummy rumble, or perhaps the feeling or sensation of hot or cold. When we notice the mind has gone there, gently we simply return to the breath. You may notice that the mind has become aware of a thought. Like the others, the thoughts just come and go, rise and fall, appear and disappear. When you notice that the mind has attached to a thought, lovingly and gently, we simply come back to the breath. 100,000 times is not too many times to come back to the breath. The breath is always in the present moment. And so is a wonderful teacher. And so connected to the breath, the body is gentle, spacious, and light. The mind is clear yet receptive to whatever arises. And the heart is open. I close my eyes and I see clearly. I stop trying to listen and I hear truth. I am silent, yet my heart sings. I seek no contact and find union. I am still and move forward. I am gentle and need no strength. I am humble and remain whole, returning again and again to the breath, returning again and again home. And so at this time, I invite you to bring your awareness to the sense door of sound. And as you become aware of the sound of the air handlers or my voice or rustling in the room, at the same time, can you maintain 5% of your awareness on that which is silent, still? Next, I invite you to bring your awareness to the sense door of touch as you notice the feeling of your clothing upon your skin or the feeling of the chair or cushion beneath you. And as you become aware of form and matter, at the same time, can you maintain a small amount of your awareness on that which is formless, the unmanifested? Next, I invite you to bring your awareness to the sense door of sight as you slowly begin to open your eyes, just letting in a little bit of light, allowing any images to simply come to you. And as you become aware of things and objects, at the same time, can you also keep a small amount of your awareness on the space around those things, in and through those objects? Next, I invite you to bring your awareness to the breath as we take a conscious breath together. And as you release, be present in the here and the now, in this time and this place. So if you need to stretch or shift your posture, your position a little bit. Good morning, good morning. It's so nice to see everybody this morning. We have a nice full Sangha today. It was really delightful this morning. I was putting a few finishing touches on the talk this morning, and I had the windows open, and it was raining, and had a little warm cup of coffee, and I was just so amazed by just the moment. So the talk today, running on empty, sorry for that earworm if you have one now. There's a funny scene from the movie Hook with Dustin Hoffman and Bob Hoskins. And in this scene, Bob Hoskins plays the first mate to Dustin Hoffman's Captain Hook. And Bob Hoskins exclaims to the captain, he's very excited, he's like, "Captain, I've had an apostrophe." And the captain's like, "You mean an epiphany, you idiot." And Bob's like, "Yes, and so too I have had an apostrophe." This practice is so amazing because there comes a point in our practice where we no longer have to do the practice does us. And so I continue to become aware of deeper understandings, deeper insights, and the difference between conceptual knowing and more of a spiritual knowing. One is knowledge, one is wisdom. one is thoughts, one is felt. And so this apostrophe that I am referring to is my understanding of the word idealistic. Now, I know I'm probably the last one in here to actually come to this apostrophe, but I'm still excited about it, and I still wanted to share it with you. And so for the longest time, this word has simply been a concept. It was romantic, and it kind of meant to me visionary, dreamer. And so recently, I have come to embody this word in a new way. I understand now in the very fiber of my being a much deeper knowing, and I know this with, let's say, a capital K, not a little k, not knowing, but knowing what this word means and how it applies to my own life and my own suffering, as well as the suffering that I inflict upon others. So the textbook definition of suffering is the mind wanting things to be different than the way they are. Now, this usually applies to some unpleasant situation ending, or some uncomfortable thing ceasing and desisting. But now I understand on a whole new level that it can be just as potent when holding a belief in the way things should be. Can I get an amen? How often, every day, do I have these thoughts about the way things should be? It might be global, or it could just be, the way somebody answers the phone. Oh, no, here, let me show you. As if I knew something. And so the reason why I was excited about this is because I just have this completely different understanding of it now. And so this way things should be, this clinging to the mirage on the hill, or even more personally, if everybody would just do it my way, we'd be okay. Now, vision by itself is not good, bad, right, or wrong, but it is our attachment to this vision, our attachment to this outcome, this clinging to the way things should be, that brings about so much of our suffering and the suffering that we impose upon those around us. I have also come to understand, by being aware of its opposite, a deeper realization of the Buddhist concept of sunyata, or emptiness. Cue the Jackson Browne song. To the Buddhist way of thinking, emptiness is the space of possibilities. When we have attached to an outcome or a belief, there is no other possibility. There is no emptiness. Though emptiness is important in the Theravada tradition, it is usually not taught as often as it is in the Mahayana tradition of Buddhism. And this might lead some folks to assume that it is absent in the Theravadan practice. One reason it's not taught as often is because emptiness is seen as a liberating insight rather than a philosophical view. Something that one needs to see intellectually versus this deeper insight, this felt sense of knowing. Theravadan's gradual approach to awakening includes extensive teachings on the functioning of the mind and the foundational practices that allow for the deep, penetrative insights into emptiness. emptiness is considered an advanced practice. Now, in the Zen tradition, emptiness is a mode of perception. A mode of perception, a way of looking at experience. It adds nothing to and takes nothing away from raw data of physical and mental events. You look at events in the mind and the senses with no thought of whether there's anything lying behind them. You've heard me often talk about the factual nature of existence. The car just pulled 6 inches in front of you. That's actually all that happened. But then here comes the overlay of judgment, blame, commentary, story. We could apply this to so many things. The phone rings. Isn't it interesting when your phone goes off, depending on where you're at or the context of what you're doing? It can either be a huge imposition or maybe it's the saving bell. It takes on so much more meaning. But actually all that's happening is just this little box is making a noise. This factual nature of life. We can apply this to everything, our work situations, our relationships. And so this mode is called emptiness because it is empty of the presuppositions we usually add to experience in order to make sense of it. The stories, the world view, all the things that we fashion to explain who we are and the world that we live in. Although these stories and views, they have their uses. The Buddha found that the questions that those worldviews and stories and commentary and judgments that we make, those questions that they raise found that these questions they raise of our true identity and the reality of the world outside, they pull our attention away from the direct experience of how events influence one another in the immediate present. So let me restate that. The Buddha found that the questions that they raise, this worldview, all these things that show up after the factual nature of an event, that our true identity and the reality of the world outside pull attention away from our direct experience of how events influence one another in the immediate present moment. So in our practice, we meditate. We invite into our awareness the present moment, a spacious, open, empty vastness that has room for whatever arises. As we meditate on emptiness, you'll notice that your mind quickly veers away, goes running down some interesting thought train that is very enticing, entertaining even. Brings us back to our familiar patterns of thinking, the ones that are so common, we're so used to, so familiar, literally grooves in the brain itself, where what fires together has wired together, and so we have these patterns of thinking. And then you find yourself planning, you find yourself figuring out what you need to get at the store. You're rewatching a scene from Hook in your mind. You're worrying about the dental bills. But if you keep returning ever so gently, ever so lovingly to the breath, you eventually will reach a place where the thoughts diminish. Now, as you continue to breathe attentively, you will begin to feel the spaciousness, the openness, the vastness. When the Buddha was asked to describe his awakened state of mind, he would sometimes say, I am always at the beginning. And we have heard Zen Master Thich Nhat Hanh talk about we are always arriving right here where we are at. Most people at the time didn't understand what the Buddha was talking about because they weren't meditating, and so they hadn't heard about emptiness or experienced the vastness, the openness. But when meditators reach that empty space, it's like starting new again. It's like starting all over, returning to the breath, to the openness, again and again. And we just rest in this spaciousness. Everything becomes fresh, clear. No matter how blocked or trapped you feel, you see at this point in the spaciousness that everything is possible. Again, Zen Master Han tells us, thanks to emptiness, everything is possible. It's a short little phrase, but a very deep teaching. Thanks to emptiness, everything is possible. Can you feel the deeper teaching in that? The color black, often thought to represent the void or to be void of any color, is actually the blending of all the colors. In the East, the enso, or the circle that we see so oftentimes painted in calligraphy, means everything, ultimate unity of all things. In the West, the circle, the zero, means nothing. And it is no accident that here we are blending the two. The emptiness of which we speak is the emptiness of a separate sense of self. And an emptiness of separate self means full of everything. In the same way that when we realize there is nowhere to go and nothing to do, we can do anything and go anywhere. It's more of these beautiful paradoxes in the Buddhist practice. It is the difference between the knowing and the capital K, deeply felt knowing, which is the wisdom path. That is wisdom. And I'd like to close with this poem by Eric Liu, Emptiness. Emptiness lives in nothingness, yet it has the imagination to become anything. It can expand infinitely into all directions. It can exist in eternity without losing a single breath. Sometimes it understands the pain and suffering of existing. Sometimes it laughs at itself for believing in the dream it created. It may have all the colors, and maybe it knows more than what you and I can comprehend. But deep down it knows the existence of all and nothing, the happiest and saddest moments of our lives and times. So perhaps we are empty. And in searching for love, we feel the emptiness more deeply. The emptiness knows that even the sweetest love can have pain. And in the greatest pain, there is love. So it becomes a song full of existence. And as we dance, it laughs and starts the next dream.
So let's take a moment to just receive that teaching fully, not just in the intellectual mind, but in an embodied way. Just like a flower receives the rain, it doesn't have to chase after it, it just opens, takes it in. As we prepare to move into our loving kindness or metta practice, I invite you to, again, resettle the body, shift, reorient to space as is needed. Give some loving kindness to the body in this moment. And metta is something we often call a heart practice, and that's an important sign for us that it's not just about reciting words and hearing them in our head or thinking. It is an embodied practice. And so I'll give you a few options that you may wish to try out during this to really connect with this embodiment of this heart wish that we'll be touching into. Some people like to place one or both hands across the heart. Another option is to make a fist and place that on the heart and cover it with the other hand in a sort of balanced stability and protection. Sometimes a hand on one or both shoulders can feel really soothing and protective. Holding one hand in the other and resting them in the lap can be a source of support. And of course, you're always welcome to just rest the hands gently in the lap. Eyes may be open or closed at any time, again, to further embody that sense of both inward-looking and outward-looking connection with both ourselves and the world, which is what metta is about. So I invite you to breathe in consciously into the heart space, contacting a sense of opening, even if it's just a millimeter, a glimmer of opening. And then breathing out. Imagine that your heart opens even just a millimeter, a glimmer to the world around you. I invite you to bring to mind a full body image of yourself, simultaneously feeling your full body as you offer yourself these wishes from your heart. May I be filled with loving kindness. May I be safe from inner and outer dangers. May I be well in body and mind. May I be at ease and happy. Breathing into the heart space, consciously extending the heartfelt sense of goodwill outwards as you call to mind a friend or someone with whom you have an uncomplicated, easy relationship. Bring them to mind and imagine these wishes extending to them from your heart. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at ease and happy. Breathing in, breathing out, and bringing to mind a neutral person, someone whom you don't know well, an acquaintance, a stranger, maybe someone you've seen on TV or in the media, a neighbor you pass but don't know, someone you've seen here this morning, and bringing them to mind, sending these wishes of goodwill from the heart. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at ease and happy. Breathing in that sense, knowing that we are often in someone else's wishes, and breathing that goodwill into the heart. And breathing out as we call to mind someone with whom we have a challenging relationship. Perhaps not the most difficult, but someone for whom we have struggles when relating. And realizing that a wish for their goodwill is a wish for the goodwill of all, knowing that if they had peace, that challenge that we feel would likely be reduced. So we bring them to mind and offer these wishes. May you be filled with loving kindness. May you be safe from inner and outer dangers. May you be well in body and mind. May you be at ease and happy. Drawing in into the heart with each in-breath, sending out with the out-breath. We bring to mind ourselves, all of those in this room and in this building. We expand the sense of our world to include this neighborhood, the entire city and all the beings it contains. This place that we call a nation. Expand our awareness to the beings of all nations, to this entire world and planet, the land and the sea and the air. We extend this even beyond to all beings in all universes, known and unknown. May we all be filled with loving kindness. May we all be safe from inner and outer dangers. May we all be well in body and mind. May we all be at ease and happy. And whenever you're ready, gently open the eyes and smile. In the spirit of dana, or the Buddhist practice of generosity, temple services here are given freely. And in the same way, if you choose to give, we ask that you do so not in return for something that you have received, but with an open heart, and so that others who may seek refuge may find it here with these teachings in this community. Dana boxes are located on the lower floor in the back, and you can also give online. We want to thank all of our wonderful volunteers who make so many things happen. There are so many to name that it's getting increasingly harder to name them all. Thank you for giving generously of your time. Please know that even if we don't list you by name, that you are in our hearts in generosity and thankfulness. We want to especially thank our TBC ambassadors who give regularly, electronically. And it's not about the amount, it's that regular giving helps us set a budget so that we can support this Sangha and these services. If you would like to become an ambassador, we encourage you to visit the TempleBuddhistCenter.com website and click on the giving link there, or you can text the words Unity Temple to 77977. And of course, a deep bow of gratitude to Victor for his wisdom and presence and teaching and tireless efforts on behalf of Temple Buddhist Center. And thank you to Christine for your beautiful music that helps sets this wonderful tone. We'll close in a moment here with the bodhicitta dedication, but if you do have time to stay after for some brief announcements of the happenings, as we like to call them here at TBC, we invite you to do so. So let us now close our service with the bodhicitta dedication, which we'll recite together one time. May the pure, brilliant sun of bodhicitta dawn in each and every heart and mind, dispelling the darkness of suffering and confusion unstoppably until all are illumined and awakened. And with our hands together in front of our hearts, let us go forth from this place, entering each moment in innocence, guided by the wisdom of our hearts. So we open our eyes, we open our hands, and we shine our light out into the world. Namaste. And we do have so many exciting things coming up as we head into this fall season. We're starting to see the changing of the leaves. As always, after our 9 a.m. service, we invite you to the post-service discussion, which takes place in person, just down the hall in the Heritage Room, or virtually online. You can go to the Temple Buddhist Center website to find the link for that. Kyle Webster, or a member of that group, often posts it in the Facebook feed as well. And that begins at 10:15. We also want to invite those of you seeking refuge in Recovery Dharma to weekly meetings Thursday at 7 p.m. We also have a couple of new classes coming up. On November 3rd, we have a 2-part class, The Basics of Meditation. This is sort of a loose extension of the Basics of Meditation class that is wrapping up, or Basics of Buddhism class that's wrapping up. And this will be specifically about exploring those parts of the Noble Eightfold Path, concentration and wisdom practices. So 2 parts, starting November 3rd. And we also have Introduction to Tai Chi Cha, which is a contemplative movement practice. That's also starting November 3rd, so lots of fun choices to make there. And you can sign up for that and find out more information either at the front desk or at by going to TempleBuddhistCenter.com. We also invite you to further delve into concentration and wisdom and Sangha through our fall day-long retreat, which will be both in person and online. So you have a choice of attending both ways. That'll be on Saturday, November 20th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the theme is Om for the Holidays, greeting the seasons with grace. So it's a way to kind of fortify yourself with some calm and presence as we head into that gauntlet we often call the holidays. And of course, we invite you to take advantage of our lending library. And this is a great support for your spiritual practice, and many people have been bringing in new items, and so we invite you to explore that. And we hope that, as Tai Chi Cha teacher Lorraine Le Pen often says, now you're ready for the best day ever. Peace and blessings.
Before you buy it. So she's been playing them like on her Bluetooth, and it almost sounds just like she was playing it. So thank you. I actually lightened it a lot, and then it was too blonde, so I went back down to a more natural color. So thank you for